down here. And so they do a big parade in town. And let's see, share a couple of photos in the chat. And for the last couple of years, actually, my son has been at the top of his class, basically, like the top couple students of each class get to go and carry the flag, and they do like some little like uh, synchronated movements and stuff where they like, drive around with flags and make a little tunnel and threw it back into their line places. But let's see, I'm looking for maybe a decent quickly.
Dude, that's so cool. And it's one of those like, yeah, seeing it. My kids have done that a few times in some things, and it's funny, like just seeing it because it's such a big deal, right? They're like such the center of attention for so many people. Like it's such a cool thing to see.
Totally, yeah, like the whole freaking county pretty much comes out. Um, and and years back when my daughter, God, she was only 9, 10 or something, and she was in, it was a different school, but she got selected to be like, um, uh, what they had a little title. Oh, it was Princesa de la Luz or something, and she got to like ride on a like a flatbed truck and like like they were like singing songs and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, had the kiddos be featured in the parades on multiple occasions. So it's always fun, and definitely didn't want to miss that. So stoked I got down here a few days ahead of time. But yeah, otherwise, just kind of getting settled in. Had a couple nice family days and getting my truck back up and running. Just I think it's just the battery died. It's kind of the old battery and didn't get started up quite often enough while I was up in the States. So dropped that off today. The dude's seeing if it'll take like an overnight charge, um, and then hopefully I'll be fully mobile and rolling down here. But yeah, and I guess tonight might be just a kind of quick one because I didn't actually hear back from Fallon's today. He may be just busy, or maybe I'm trying to think if he was gonna be um uh away from home this week too, as Jose is also still up in the mountains for the I believe it's the moon ceremony. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
we
That's
don't necessarily, yeah, oh my god, he shared one photo because he's had a little off and on um um internet. Let me see if I can, I'm sure he
yeah.
wouldn't mind
See
if
if
I
you can
shared it.
find the picture because we should post it up in the live chat. And it's I from last week's stuff because I had some the the hand protocol guys, and
Yeah.
then I've talked to them since after that, and I went in and Token Smart vouched for them, so we got them out of the Giveth thing. I'm really
Oh,
excited to
awesome.
see that went up there. And I have
Yeah,
had
that
some
was.
conversations about doing something potential with Token Smart because I've like the more we do, it's funny trying to you're seeing some positive movement in the timeline. Like there's a lot of bad stuff, right? And everybody's just doom and gloom stuff. But I'm seeing some cool positive things coming out. I'm getting involved in some newer projects that I'm excited for in a game. Token Smart is still like a shining example of I mean, we've tried to
Good.
keep this a community driven, fun, like thing where we build each other up, like figuring out a way to make it
Totally.
run with it more is really exciting to me.
There's not really any other communities that I can think of that have been around through thick and thin, bear and bull, and stayed. I mean, Toga Smart community is obviously a lot larger than kind of the core of us that are active still. But we've this is probably one of the longest running Web3 communities that hasn't just completely disintegrated, or been split out into like a couple other things, or maybe, I mean, they haven't been around as long, but maybe like a Bored Ape Discord, or a Punk Discord, or something like that. Maybe there's a few that have kind of been around and seen as much and stayed, just stayed on it, whether that's, tinkering, building small things here and there, or just, keeping weekly events going with the fam. I think it would be rad to have Token Smart be, more tied in, more integrated with things like, Giveth and Hand Protocol, because I think the knowledge base also between, the all the Token Smarties, is vast. And so not only for, just being able to have a very trustworthy sort of place for people to, find information and get connected, but also a lot of different scopes of talents between, all the Token Smarties, both, ever present and, the occasional pop-ins, and all the OGs.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we should have a call sometime, like you, me, Dragon 8, and some, pulling some of the other people, because thinking about what we can do. I was like, Giveth could be an interesting one. If we could we're already a trusted community. Like they know us, we've got history, so that's why
Totally.
a vouch from Token Smart is great. But I'm like, man, I wonder if we could have like
How does
a campaign on Giveth, and then like have individual shows, like maybe Easy's Corner is a specific funding round, right? Or maybe, NFT Music Hall is a specific thing, or 3PS is specific, or public
right?
school, or get something for
That
Paul.
would be super cool. Yeah. I mean, even to have, and like you're saying, there could be kind of the Token Smart umbrella that has, shows underneath it. Maybe those are specific, like you're saying, kind of little like, basically, I mean, it's like programming. It's like television or something where you'd have kind of your the channel, and then you have the shows. So even if it was, whether it's a, around to try and bring some funding to Token Smart itself, which gives this space and has all these, awesome hosts and a wealth of knowledge to be sort of, spread out, or like you were saying, even for having, if it's like, yeah, Token Smart vouched Easy Corner, and then there can be a write up on Easy's Corner, what we've been doing here for years, and people could be like, oh, cool, yeah, I'd throw down to support continuing that, and having maybe even more, kind of, with a little budget, you can do more fun stuff. Have
Yeah.
somebody making like jingles and like, getting just getting out there a little more, versus just, the core crew here. So yeah, that's a rad idea. I'd be fully down to jump on a call and sort of brainstorm, knock around some ideas around that.
Yeah, we should definitely, because this, I mean, I don't know. Are we in a bear? It's hard for me to say if we're in a bear. Like Ethereum's
It
still
felt,
$2,500 a piece. Like that doesn't feel like a
yeah,
bear, but the
I know it's odd. It's like this, like, well, I guess we're just in a little bit of a like, it feels a little stale out, not
yeah.
necessarily a bear. And I felt like, what, 3 months ago or something, I was like, oh yeah, here it's coming, like this slow build up to the bull. Yeah, Bitcoin jumped, ETH has been pretty solid. It's more like it feels like kind of there's a bear in like the growth of the
The, the
like
fun part of it,
onboarding or
maybe.
something. Yeah, it's like there's like stuff still trucking along for, the major tokens and dexes. They're all, continually building and earning off their little percentages and whatnot. But yeah, it's more like the fun activities have sort of slowed down, and less just like, um I don't know, less just like crazy cool stuff to be doing crazy cool stuff. And then that
Yeah.
can be partially from like a little bit of burnout from the people that have been making all the cool stuff for years. I guess that's where it is. It feels like there's been a maybe a slowdown on, and maybe it's just because I'm a little less active, losing the Twitters and stuff. I'm not seeing as much. Um, but yeah, maybe it feels like there's less people coming in and like doing kind of like crazy cool things. And yeah, it just feels a little bit stale. I'm sure that, if you're digging, there are cool projects and fun little games launching and stuff here and there. It's just maybe it's a little harder to find because we did wind up kind of broadening, and there's a lot more out there compared to, like, 2021 or something. So maybe it's partly in navigation. And
Uh,
that's also somewhere like Token Smart is awesome for, because there's so many great projects that have been through, and that have, some gotten their starts over here. So yeah, that's another kind of, the navigation could be a really useful asset for finding, same thing with like being able to find, like, okay, yeah, this is legit verified give it. Well, finding even just like legit things to do for fun or for learning is, can be hard to find.
oh yeah. Well, it's. I think the last month I've been exposed to a little more than like over the summer. It felt like things would go, but because I was trying to work on a game, with a group of guys, WG and Ronan, the collector, and some other guys trying
Right?
to build this tech trials. And we actually got accepted to Third Web's startup accelerator cohort.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we've been doing that this past month. And so it's like everybody, they brought in like 90 projects that are all trying to build something. So it's been pretty cool. They spun up a separate, like a private Slack thing and invited everybody there. So I've been having some weekly chats with some of these other guys developing those. And there's some cool
Nice.
stuff these guys are working on. Now it's like that ignited a little bit of a fire under my ass, to be like, oh shit, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. And now it's like, this is an opportunity to be right in the middle of it. I was thinking about trying to bring some of them over here, seeing if maybe I could get them to come, talk to everybody during Easy's Corner, or like in the coming weeks or something. Like
Yeah, that would be
it,
super cool for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, I saw, where was it? In one of our little group channels, I did see, and just because I was like getting ready and packing and trying to get everything organized in Cali to get down here, I didn't go over and hit that like game link. I think it was for the game thing. I will after this if
that's too
it's still
bad.
open.
We'll see what's going on because I'm about to, I think in the next day or two, I'm about to drop some access passes to a. Yeah, we dropped some alpha. We had a Twitter space today. I've been working on a. It's
Ooh,
basically a fake desktop. It looks like, remember the old one I dropped last spring?
yeah, yeah.
And that was, this is, I've been working all summer with another guy who actually works for Microsoft, who's been working on some stuff, and he's won some web awards for his infrastructure. It's a whole
Oh, cool.
Windows, it's like Windows XP, Windows based OS that runs fully in a browser. You can run like DOS emulators through it and some other things. So
Ooh,
I'm actually able to run like full scale video games, like older
fun,
arcade
dude.
games in it. And you can do all.
Totally.
So yeah, we're about to drop a thing to try to get access to a small group of like beta testers this week, so I can start getting them to tell me what works, what doesn't work. So in a
Awesome.
couple of weeks, we can really make something cool. I'm seeing it as an interesting
I could,
delivery platform that nobody's seen before.
yeah, and if we do a session where we want to like maybe have either a post easy corner test play sesh or a pre or whatever, I could probably get some of the slingshot homies that do testing over there for their games, every week or every month or whatever, to come over if we needed a few more hands. But yeah,
Yeah.
I had another thought that then just popped out. What was it? Oh, so check this out. So you're saying you can run the emulators and stuff on this. I don't think anyone's done this. We've had like Flappy Bird for, crypto and stuff like that. But what if it was just a tournament and you're playing like freaking, I don't, it could be Contra or Double Dragon or like any like old classic emulator games, but you just have like, kind of like a mixed like championship like tournament, and then you just have some like fun prizes for whoever comes out on top, the top like 10 out of those like 100 players and fighters. scored in different games. So it's like maybe you have to do, a fighting game and like a racing game and some other platformer or something. And like through the like, the score ratings, people would get ranked on a little leaderboard, and then could just have a little bit of prize cryptos. And I think people would probably do that, like, because pretty much all the crypto gaming stuff is focused on either a specific project that's creating like a metaverse or a game or something, or like I haven't seen like retro crypto game fest. Like nobody's done that, but I'm sure it would attract plenty of us, like, geezers that like are super nostalgic for the old games.
Oh yeah. No, this I'm really excited to try to get other people in because this is like I've been building all summer, so I feel like I'm like in the know, and I'm like because I'm building it right. But I'm like
Right.
that doesn't mean anything at all until I get 100 token smarties in here telling me what. Now this is stupid.
Right.
Now this is
Yeah,
great.
like
Like
this
that's
is
what I need.
awesome. That's annoying the hell out of me. You got to kill this, or yeah, totally. And it's so funny because having, for the last couple of years, having been working with SSD, you'll get like the opposite. Like someone's like, oh man, like it could be anything. It's like the colors are too bright. And someone, like a bunch of people the week before, were like, oh, these are kind of muted. You should really brighten the colors. And they like brighten up the landscape and stuff and bring it back the next week. And like having taken the advice out of, or like, that constructive criticism from a few people, someone will be bound to say like, I don't like the thing you just fixed. But of course you go by, the kind of the majority. And like, of course, there's always somebody that's like, I don't like this. And everybody's like, that's kind of the coolest thing in the game. Um, but yeah, totally. Getting that kind of large test group is super important. And even like 10 to 20, I think is a good place to start.
Well,
Even just 10,
the funny thing is when it comes to stats, I mean, like I'm really excited with that group of guys that I'm working with. Like I've got, I mean, WG Meets, like the stuff he's
oh yeah,
doing in the background
dude,
is really cool. Like Ronan
I
the
can only,
Collector is an
yeah,
incredible community developer. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
we've got 500 people that were like in this like community thing that got in, and almost 200 of them signed up on a pass thing. So like we
Awesome.
had almost what 45% engagement thing, which when we talked to our marketing person who's also an OG Bitcoiner, like hardcore, and she goes by the Valkyrie, but like she's been in Token Smart in the past, but she hasn't been lately. But she was like, we give her stats like that, and it's like, what? How could you do this? I'm like, that's Ronan, dude.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
stuff like
Yeah,
that is what I'm like. I can build stuff. Like I need some of these guys around me to do the other stuff that I'm not good at.
totally.
So
Yeah, no, it takes a village for sure. Ronan's awesome. I haven't seen him for a while, but know him pretty well from the old lads days and stuff.
yeah, it's because he's been heads down. We've been playing with this
Right?
since like last January. He actually kind of
Nice.
went offline, sold a bunch of stuff to get himself a little bit of a war chest to work through it
Right
while
on,
we build crazy
dude.
stuff.
That's awesome. That's the way to actually like do it. Take some of the stuff that you got and leverage it and build something really cool, and then just, yeah, blast it off. Louis baby in the audience. What up, Louis?
Yeah, Louis.
And I saw we had someone else, and then they jumped out. But I knew it was going to be a pretty lax show with Jose out of town and so on's off for the night and stuff. But I did want to jump in, at least say hey and kind of touch base.
Yeah, no, this is cool. Yeah, I'm happy I jumped up on stage too. We got some
Yeah,
cool
I'm
stuff cooking.
for
Yeah,
sure throwing
need
Louis an
Louis up
invite,
here.
see what he's up to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't do
But
my full foghorn either. Keep it a little quiet. Bam.
oh,
Oh, he's
we've
probably
robbed him.
trying to get connected. What did he do? He swapped his. I think he opted recently for maybe like simpler setup or something for his Discord. Uh, oh, he's back. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
just Discord being Discord.
yeah. There he
Goat,
is.
what up?
Yo, dude. Sorry, it wasn't letting me click the accept button for some strange reason. But dude, Farouk is interviewing Trump right now.
Yeah,
What?
I saw that. I saw the little thing that he was
What?
going to be doing it.
Farouk is
Where?
interviewing Donald Trump on Twitter Spaces.
He wants to
On
tax
Twitter.
everybody out of business. He wants to
I'm not
raise
going to hold the whole thing. I
taxes
just want you to hear Farouk say
80%.
something. It's
He
wild.
wants an unrealized capital gain tax, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Nobody's ever even heard of such a thing.
Is it worth jumping over there and listening to him? I mean,
Dude,
we've
yeah.
got
I mean, I don't know how Farouk is connected, like politically like that. I didn't know
so
that
Donald
side of
Trump's
things.
son was trying to push him to do stuff, and then yeah,
Yes.
Rug Radio is just the one with the
Oh,
biggest followers. So
That's right.
okay,
Trump's
I
son-
get it.
Trump's son, I'm pretty sure, has a couple of wallets that he's lost a lot of money in, a lot of meme coins, and gotten to
I bet.
space. And he probably
Holy
knows Farouk is one of the people in the space. And Trump knows he has a very strong chance to
Crypto.
completely- Yes,
he's got
exactly.
he's got 160,000 people listening to him.
Well, it's
Right,
not
and
even
if he
that.
can, if
It's
he
the
can
crypto audience.
convince,
Yeah,
right, if he can convince the crypto audience that he's gonna, be all pro crypto for us,
He already has.
then he's getting votes. Yeah, I think everybody's pretty much bought it. I don't know if maybe if it's good enough for him, he would get us some regulations and shit. If it's not like really benefiting him, I don't know how much effort he'll put into that.
I mean that's just it. Yeah, it's like if he's gonna make money off it, then I'm sure he probably would pass things that make it easier in
Right.
some respects. Obviously he would be dumb not to.
Well, I mean, the
But
beauty,
that's not.
the beauty of it is that he can make money off it, and we honestly could possibly never
Right.
know. Like, he could actually do
I
it.
am.
He already has.
I'm-
He's made a
Of
ton
course,
of money.
Yeah.
of course. He's made
like-
Totally.
millions. Yeah, with the NFTs
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
stuff.
I'm hoping that if he does win, that he's legit gonna be like, yeah, I'm throwing down for crypto. I made a few millies, but I want to make more. My Trump cards are like super collectible, so we got to regulate this stuff nicely.
No, easy. That's his
We'll
whole,
see.
That's his whole thing. Full stop. He already said, like, he's gonna make America the #1 crypto country in the world. It's gonna be accessible. Blah 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 bullshit.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
he-
didn't.
I
I didn't hear
remember
that
for some
part.
reason I was before I was in crypto, I was in IT, like I worked for an MSP and I did like fractional CTO work. So I did a lot of like a meeting with CEOs and companies to help them set up IT budgets. And I remember this one guy who was like, he owned it was like a retail, it was a retail store, like property ownership company in like the middle of a big city. So it was like he hired 5 or 6 people to run it, and then he just lived in a yacht in California, would check in like once
Damn.
every 5 or
Wow.
6 months.
Yeah.
And I remember he was talking to me about like I don't remember what the context was, but he started saying about like how you need to picture money like a river. Like it flows. Like, this is how our whole
Mm.
economy, money just coming hand to hand, like flowing
Right.
all over the place.
I love
it's
that.
like
Go on. That makes sense.
The smartest guys, like you don't even know how they do it. They'll somehow pull a cup out of their back pocket and dip it into that river.
Right. Siphon a little off.
They'll siphon
Little
just a
side
little bit
ditch.
off, but it's
Right,
like the
dude.
bigger your cup is, like if you're smart about where your cup is, like the bigger you can swipe out with each swipe, and it doesn't even interrupt the flow of money flowing through things. So he's like, the people who figure that out, like it's a total mind shift, and just saying it is one thing, but living it is a different thing. But you can see certain people like just
Yeah.
they somehow
They've
just
got
like
big siphons.
right. And whenever we talk about it, it's like, how do you make money? I'm like, well, he's doing his magic somewhere. There's some other weird thing. And it's like, that's the middleman thing, right? We're trying to get rid
Mhm.
of a lot of these middlemen. And those are the guys who are sort of dipping their cup into this. They're not adding anything. They're
Right.
literally dipping a cup in and
Ex-
pulling some out.
Pure extraction. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
that's always going to be with a market, though. Like, there's no way to have a market without pure extraction, I feel.
No,
true,
it's
true.
I mean, it's what generates headlines. It's what gets more people in too, because otherwise, how would they ever hear about it, right? Like, it's
Yeah, for sure. No, I think honestly, Trump will be good. In my opinion, it's all just equivalent to like a relative pump and dump, like over the course
Right.
of the years, right? Like that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
I don't look at it in any capacity as our country's going to progress with crypto. It's all bullshit. Those are all promising points that just makes the number go up.
Yeah.
And then the number will definitely, as we've seen it so many times, go back down. And when you're talking about like having the cup thing go on, I think about like dollar cost averaging, just like spending $50 a pop, but like this time around being ready to do it at the right time and
Right.
continue doing it and doing right and seeing the benefits of that. Like that's how I'm doing it now. Like, and I have been like my number keep going up because I'm like really being very conservative and just dollar cost averaging, and it's working.
Well, if you
That's
can
called
dip in,
maturity and experience, sir.
Yeah, because
yeah,
I've lost before.
Oh
instead
no,
of
no, we're going
instead of
boomer talk now, but yeah.
instead of chasing shit coins, you dip a $50 cup in, and then you try and get $100 worth of liquid from that, right? So little moves like that does seem like probably the more kind of solid way to go than trying to just like
Time it. You can't time it.
yeah, so doing small, you're like, okay, I bought in, I've got a couple $100 in. It's Bitcoin's gone up 7,000. I'll take out a little portion of that and see, at least I know I'm up some, but then I won't feel stupid if it shoots up higher for the next 6 months and doesn't drop again for, like it's I think that comes with experience. Unless of course you've got giant money bags, then you're throwing around
No, I don't. That's why I'm
bigger
doing
amounts
the
in
way
and
I'm
out.
doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing
Yeah.
it. But like I like like I've set a rule like max $100 and like it has to be fucking like really really low. Like bro, I got to do Bitcoin that day. Dropped to 49,000. I got it.
Nice.
I got $100 of it, and I wanted to
Oh
kill
yeah.
myself for not getting more. But like I set a
Oh,
rule, and I was like, bro, I'm not fucking, I'm not playing with this shit.
yep.
And so like that day alone, and like just buying Bitcoin in this place where it's been like between 50 and 54. I like. And fucking ETH when ETH was at like 21, buying it there, 22, buying it there. Even
Hmm.
right now is not a horrible time to buy it, in my opinion, if you're dollar cost
Yep.
averaging. But yeah, fam, that's been like the
Yeah.
name of the game for me, because I don't gamble and I can't play with money like that.
Yep. No, good stuff for real.
So yeah, how
Well,
you
I
guys?
wonder. I do pretty good. Just got down to Costa a few days ago.
Right on.
So I wonder. So Farouk's interviewing Trump. I wonder what kind of like. I wonder if he'll, make a bunch of money somehow
I think he
Well,
can.
from that
yeah, there was
exposure.
so there's
I'm
some
sure.
thing about so Trump's trying to set up some crypto blockchain thing himself, apparently. And so
I would,
there's like all
that would be
rumors that
that would be the last blockchain I would ever be on, obviously. But
So what, like
well, I
Farouk
mean,
in
maybe it'll make
like
you a multimillionaire, so you might be right in like the worst way, right? But I don't know.
right,
Like
right?
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, the interview was just like a total simp interview. Like, Farouk is questioning him, giving him softball questions, and he's just like,
Of course.
of course he is.
He's just ranting, crazy person talking, as he does. And
Man,
and, and I
that's
digress.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, yeah, so Trump chain, huh? Interesting.
I know it's one of those like rumors are they're great. I love conspiracy theories. We do here at Easy's Corner,
Oh yeah.
right? We love
Oh
conspiracy
yeah.
theories. But like the biggest thing is they're saying like 90% of it is already allocated to people. Like, they're talking about a decentralized chain, but it's like 90% of it is
That's
already like tied
completely
to somebody.
right.
It's like, well,
That
that's
is
the opposite.
the opposite. Yes, the
It's-
opposite of how like decentralization and blockchain ideally works. You don't pre-give out 90% of it, sell 10%, and then the 90 everybody cashes out just on the back of those little 10% guys. Wow.
I mean, it
Um,
is funny because it's like when you look at that, like, I mean, why, like, a lot of the guys who are probably involved with something like that are already big enough that it's like you could just do the same thing with a normal stock and have the same
right,
outcome. Couldn't you? Why not just do that? It's easier. It's like,
right. Just start a business with these like 10 big names on it and
right.
sell some stock. Yeah.
Like it's
Totally.
literally easier and there's more liquidity for you to pull out. So why don't you just do that? Like it's like I don't even know why you'd go through the trouble of setting up a blockchain and doing everything. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not even interested in that fuck boy. He could do what he wants. I don't the politics thing. It's like such a fucking I don't know. I'm not into it.
Holy
I
shit!
don't blame
Yeah,
people
I
who
just
wouldn't. But anyway, how about this, boys? Here's one thing I'll press you to do. Find an all-time ETH BTC chart, because it's hard to do it to begin with. I still
Mm.
struggle. And then when you look at
Huh.
that, let me know what you see, because there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about ETH, and I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but a lot of people are fudding it.
You know, it's
well,
an interesting thing because I feel like so what I've seen the narrative is like everybody's saying L2s are taking all the thunder out from Ethereum, but I'm like, isn't it adding to Ethereum? Like
Yes,
literally the
I completely
complaint
agree
is
with
that
you. Yes.
yeah, the complaint is not fast enough. It's like, okay, well here, now
Yeah.
we made it fast enough.
Yeah,
Isn't that like
like it's not because people don't understand that it's the same blockchain. That's essentially what's going on here.
yeah, I think it's basically just complete ignorance. If you're saying, oh, Polygon's taking away, Base is taking away from ETH, no, they're all on the Ethereum blockchain. It's just I'm on the Ethereum blockchain to the left, and
don't
you're on the
understand.
Ethereum blockchain to the right.
you
People
know
don't
my
even understand that their one address on multiple blockchains is the same address.
Right.
Like they don't understand it. They think it's multiple wallets. Like they don't get it. And so yeah, so I that's kind of part of exactly what I agree with you is that like when I see that FUD in that manner, I say to myself, well, that doesn't really make sense because of what you're saying. And I think the way that this is going in terms of ETH and what it was supposed to do, like it's happening. Like more things are being developed on top of it, right? Like that's what it's meant to be.
Exactly.
It's a crypto platform, as Michael, what's his name, Sayer, I think, describes it. Oh, I love his description. If you haven't heard it. So yeah, so that's what I think about it. But I'm looking at ETH BCC all time, or I'm trying to find ETH BTC all time because I want to see what the chart looks like.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got
well, I mean,
got
it's in,
ETH to BTC CoinGecko chart pulled up. Max looks like what, maybe July 16, 2016.
That's not
Huh.
horrible. That's probably actually pretty far. You could.
yeah. I mean, I think it launched in 2014 or 2015, right? It was pretty, but it wasn't like a big
Yeah.
deal until like a year after, and then started tracking it harder.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, CoinGecko looks like it's got a fairly decent one.
So where are you getting ETH BTC on CoinGecko though?
I just put in ETH/BTC,
Big enough?
and then it came up, and then I went to Max.
You see, it'd be
Here, I can
fun
probably
to
share the link.
it'd be fun to look at ATC Ethereum Classic because that's a cool story looking at how it goes and stuff. But I'm like, that was a great. You can see it
Ah,
like market cap like split in half right
Yeah,
during the
because ETH
DAO
Classic is the
FUD.
real ETH.
Right,
But
the
they couldn't
markets
do it.
decided. Yeah,
They couldn't do anything with it. Is why they made this. That's the deal, right?
well, they couldn't revert it like without everybody going in because it was the whole point
Well-
was the DAO was a giant. Somebody used the first DAO that had tons of money, and then they basically did what we keep seeing. They figured out a way to put their own submitted thing to the DAO to pay all the money to themselves, basically, and then they were able to like
somehow passed
force
it.
the thing,
Yeah.
get it passed. So all the money like went to them. Like,
So here's the question: Is Ethereum currently the real layer 2 of Ethereum Classic, or is it another blockchain?
no, it's another blockchain.
Separate blockchain.
Love
So
to
what
hear it.
ha-
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I was nervous there for a second. But yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, at that point it was like I remember because it was definitely like a lot of people lost money and stuff, and they demanded
Yep.
the Ethereum Foundation do something, and they actually did. They were like, "Well, we can roll the entire chain back to before that happened,"
And
and
then
so
fork it.
everybody
Make
who
a new
agreed,
chain from that.
yeah, and then everybody who agreed started mining on that new chain they rolled back. Everybody else said, "No, we can't roll it back." Like, so you lost money, deal with it, and they just kept
Right.
mining the existing one, and that's what Ethereum Classic turned into. Like, they needed to get different. They could have a different chain ID, but yeah, logically, Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum. Like an Ethereum is
Totally.
the fork, but
Yeah,
But the useful, the like more useful one that we can do all this, crazy stuff
Yeah.
on. I don't know if ETH Classic can do as much if they have kept up with
there's
like
been
the
some
amount that the
development
smart
there, but
contract can do.
yeah, all the money is on Ethereum, so obviously every
Right.
developer goes to Ethereum. That's what
No,
happens.
I've got like a tiny ETH Classic from back in the day. I won at the Whip a metaverse like parcel or apartment on that one metaverse, the something of the world, or like that is on ETH Classic. So
Dude,
there is
that's
that
some old
metaverse over
stuff.
there.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely a whole developer like org that works on ETC. It's like, and now actually now they're having the argument because they've kept the uh proof of work. So
Yeah,
it's POW.
I'd go back. I'd be willing to just let's all go back over to ETH Classic just to get away from the frickin' proof of stake that's I think was the worst thing that so far has happened to Ethereum.
So it's
But yeah. At
So
least the classic is over there just in case.
I actually hold some classic, but not a lot. So oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say, but I had a question about ETH. Oh, so like on Coinbase, for example, or on an exchange, when you look at all these tokens, what I'm gonna say is I'm not 100% sure if I'm asking, you guys would know. Those aren't like people think of each token as its own blockchain, and it's not.
no, it's not. Yeah.
It, like
Yeah, not at all.
DAI, right? Like the DAI that I know, DAI, is on ETH. Like
Yep.
like the DAI, not like a layer DAI,
Yeah.
like the DAI. So like that surprised me, and then it was like, okay, that's on ETH, and then it was like, you know, the wrapped Bitcoin that's on ETH as well. Like I don't
Right.
I don't really know at what point the crypto platforms versus the crypto property will make a big enough distinction between each other. But like at that point, I was like, okay, I think I see the difference here. You know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, well-
interesting because it's like if you want to, like, I get not all value streams back to Ethereum. Like it was okay, you're running Base or you're running Polygon or something. So I'm like, those are other chains that are riding on top of Ethereum and like rolling up to Ethereum for like security purposes, but they have their own
Right.
tokens. So if you've got $1 billion on Polygon and $1 billion on Base and $1 billion on Ethereum, like, I mean, theoretically, you've now got 3 billion worth of like value that's flowing through the Ethereum
the
like
chain,
chain.
Right.
But you
Right.
don't get that 3 billion by
Well-
staying on Ethereum. You like get snippets of it that are compartmentalized off.
Right. But well, check this out. It almost seems sort of like you could look at a chain, like Ethereum blockchain, like a like stock exchange. That would be like the New York City Stock Exchange, and it's got a bunch of tokens under it that are like the stocks. Whereas over on the Hong Kong exchange, well, that's a completely different blockchain. It's a completely different entity that validates if a company can have the stock on there. And so there's total different value involved, like maybe a lot more Chinese businesses. So I don't know. I mean, it's not a great analogy, but it's sort of like that umbrella where, like, over here on this chain, you could have a million tokens, just like on, a certain stock exchange, you could have a bunch of stocks. Whereas on another exchange, they wouldn't be listed because they don't meet the criteria. Totally different. We don't have like, oh, you don't meet the criteria to make a crappy meme token on this chain. There's no criteria, but it's sort of the grouping. I guess could be, maybe looked at as a way to try and
It is funny when you
add
look at 'cause the
comprehension.
whole. Yeah, I'm just looking at CoinGecko now with your point. Like, there's $2 trillion is the whole global market cap for all crypto, like just collect. Bitcoin has what, a 1.1 trillion cap, and Ethereum has a 275 billion market cap. But I'm like,
Sounds about
there's
right.
also what other ones? Let's see. There's like USDC, which rides on top. That's got a $35 billion
So
market
USDC
cap.
rides on top of ETH.
Yeah, the base one does. It's not its own
Like when you cash out
blockchain.
on Coinbase, that one's on ETH.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
get the
have
fuck out of here, bro. So this is my complaint. Like, how are we gonna settle these fucking? How are we gonna get out here and fucking even hear these arguments of people saying there's no use case? Like, this is the use case. Like, ETH is your fucking play. ETH is your playpen here. Like when we're
Yeah,
scrolling up and down, like there's a lot of tokens that are on ETH that are in these top. To have 3 tokens on one chain in the top 10, what the fuck is that? And they're the government stable coins. Like,
yeah,
right.
but Ethereum's not like gonna do anything because all the other things built on top of it are taking the spot. Like, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I think it's a bad play. I think it's a bad take.
I
Wow.
get it if you're just looking to trade and you're trying to make money, and that's like you're not. Again, this is where it comes like I love thinking about like I've been told Bitcoin is like digital gold. It's just like if you buy gold and stockpile it. Like it's cool and there's going to be a trade. Somebody will buy it from you. That's literally what it does.
Right.
Ethereum, though, you should think about it more like oil, right? And how
Mm.
oil works in the global market, where the price of a
Things
gallon
run
of
on
oil goes
oil.
up and down. But it's like everybody needs it because you make plastics out of it, you make gas out of it, you make
Yeah.
diesel out of it, you make other stuff. Like this is like yeah, so it's like a barrel of oil, even though it's only $50, that barrel of oil could make $100 million worth of product out of it with the right refinement stuff, right? Like
Right.
that's why it's like it's a good way to think about it. Ethereum is the oil of this crypto community stuff. Bitcoin is the gold. That's what you just buy and
Right.
sit
That's a
on
good.
gold. Like it's
Yeah.
It's funny because people don't think oil. They think Bitcoin is gold, ETH is silver. I've never heard anybody call it oil. And like it is. Like especially if you know how a car works almost. Like it's even how to make that
Yeah.
comparison. It's moving
It's like
and
the
running the system,
energy
the engine.
sector.
It's what the engine needs, to continue to run.
yep.
Yeah, and in a bunch of different ways, whether it's lubrication or whether it's actually the combustible there. Ethereum is similarly like if you're building a layer 2 or 3 under Ethereum, or if you're just using ETH and you have some kind of DApp on it, or just a piece of art on it, or trading cards. Like there's a bunch of different things that you can do with the tooling of Ethereum blockchain that I think is going to keep growing and growing. And yeah,
Something that's really cool about that is like when you think about if you were to buy a barrel of oil, like what do you do with it, right? It's like, well, maybe I made it into gas. I'm like, well, gas is only $3 a gallon. Maybe you can only make 1 gallon of gas out of that barrel of oil. So now you just turned your $50 into $3. Grats, right? Or maybe you turn it into a
happens,
plastic casing for a phone that sells for $1,000. You just
Right.
you just what 50x your barrel of
Like, I
oil
don't know if
costs
phone
because
cases that are $1,000.
well I'm like just that's like you need to think about like maybe you made the plastic casing for some like exotic product that you're selling that goes haywire and viral on the home shopping network. And you just turn that oil into something different.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is a lack of ability for the current ecosystem or creators in it to become big enough, because I'm sure there are some who are doing it that are actually exploiting the Ethereum blockchain for the oil that it is and can be, and are operating things on top of it in such a manner that show that. Um, and I think that's what we don't have. And I think there is probably examples of it, but if it's there, just like good music, it's never at the top of the pile or the best.
yeah,
It's just there, and you have to find it. And honestly, most of the projects that I found utility from that I enjoyed, whether it just be getting a piece of merch or digital access to something or whatever, were like not really that big. Like they weren't that popular. Like Crypto
right.
Voxels, like it was like the biggest, most popular one probably that I like ever did, and I love my Crypto Voxels parcel.
Well, I know there's all kinds of stuff. It's fun being here for a long time because I've been involved with all these projects and talked to the people. Like I love Ben with a passion. Like the guy is like visionary
Mhm.
and cool and interesting and everything you want to see in like a cypherpunk type mentality, right?
Like
It's
DJ.
cool, but it's like like by being that you also lack like Decentraland was VC backed with so much money, so much like market marketing like hype behind it that it was like, of course it's gonna blow up through the roof. Like even though they
Yeah.
delivered less than crypto voxels did, in my opinion,
It did
like
definitely.
they're
less.
still seen they're seen as the bigger one. They've got more money because they've got those resources. And Ben wasn't
I'm also
interested
going
in
to say
using
their
those
name
resources.
is more acceptable to a
Yeah.
normie, and when you have
True.
crypto voxels, it's like, what the fuck is that? When I heard that the first time, I was like, these motherfuckers are crazy. Like, I was like, what are they
Yeah.
talking about? They're like, we're in voxels, we're in world, you coming in world. I was like, bro, what the fuck are you people talking about? And, like, you know, people in Decentraland, respectfully, like some are probably like that because they're the people from crypto voxels or have both. But like people in Decentraland are like, yo, just go to this link, like you'll be in a room and there'll be a screen. It's like, all right, cool, bro. Like,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Your crypto voxels catered to the artist, the creator. And
Yes.
Decentraland, I feel like catered to the marketers, the biz
audience.
dev guys, I don't know. It's an interesting one. Like I love hanging out with the creators more, but it is like sometimes things get a little weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely definitely the weird side to the creators, but that's also like what can make it so fun and cool. It's like, but
Yeah.
that can also make it like not work sometimes. But
Speaking of that, are we all going to Rizzle Fest? Will you be there, Louis, or what?
I would die to be there, but there's just no shot, man. No shot. No shot.
I am yeah, I'm like twisting Dobbs and Niles Dobbs and Niles, knobs and dials trying to get there. But I think so. I think it's gonna work out. I should know probably by the end of this week.
That'd be
Poor
really
fucking
cool.
Dobbs and Niles, man. Those guys, they give you that. That's funny shit.
Dude, I should that needs to be like, I don't know, a company name or something. That's good.
That was
See
pretty
that
good.
and
Dobbs and
fancy
Niles.
letterhead.
Yeah. You should name that the store of a phone and doorknob store. And then really confused.
Damn, you see, like if stuff really goes downhill and we just all can't rely on crypto stuff anymore, maybe we need to go start up a retail store. Sure we can.
Right?
Dobbs
That's
and
it
Niles.
right there.
Yeah. There it is. We've got the title. We've
There
got
it
the
is.
name.
And that's when they knew Dobbs and Niles would be their future.
You can like you anything from like a old like NES cartridge to like the fanciest mirror finish finest marble slabs. I don't know.
Variety store.
Everything you could need. Yeah.
What's Dragon Age saying? Built on Optimus. I don't know why. As soon as base came out, built on everyone abandoned and forgot Optimus and began sucking bases. Oh, Dragon. Yeah. I mean, for sure. I don't even fuck with base. Like,
Dude.
fuck that shit. Like, it's all right.
Optimism had a run for a minute
I
at least.
I like base. I've been.
But
playing
here's my
it
thing.
lately,
Here's my
and it's
thing.
pretty
Here's my
good.
thing. And Trizla, like, then tell me, right? And I gotta go in like 5 minutes. But like, bro, like, what the fuck can you do on base that you can't do on Optimism? Like, maybe certain platforms are doing shit like on one chain, but like, I think they're all the same shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And
You hate to
so
hear it.
it's
Like somebody's
Dude,
not using, they're not exploiting it for the oil that it is, and this is why we're here.
yes. So Polygon blew it. Basically, they just blew it. They did not get out in front. Optimism had a really good, chance to just basically take over Polygon's like business stuff, and they started doing it, and they're throwing around Optimism and stuff. I don't know how they weren't able to get enough momentum to kind of stick that #1 spot. But yeah, now it seems like it's pretty split with base also now in the mix. And it seems like base is maybe gonna be the winner. I don't know yet, but it feels like
see that. Yeah, I feel like base is going to be the winner because they've got such a ridiculously huge marketing backing, for better or for worse. Like,
look, base is
it's the same thing. We're talking about ETC and we're talking about Ethereum Classic at ETH. I'm like, it's the same sort of concept, right? Where I'm like, I don't know, you want to be right or you want to like make money and actually build stuff that people can get into,
does
right?
base,
Like,
base have a token like Optimism?
Yeah, base token, doesn't it? Did it?
No,
Did they come
no,
out
they
with
use
one?
it.
No, they don't. No, there was
No,
a
they use
base,
it.
but
They
it's
use
not at all
Ethereum.
tied to the. Yeah, it's just ETH on base.
Yeah,
Right. It's like ETH on OP.
yeah. So I mean, that's an interesting side thing is that Polygon and Optimism both made their own token and they did
Right.
airdrops and they're trying to get people there, whereas Base didn't do
And
that. So
still,
Bro,
I don't
and
know.
fuck all
base
that
seems
shit.
to be. Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
wild.
I look at my gas fees. What I got, like two and a quarter, maybe. And I look at that shit and I'm like, voila, motherfucker! Like that's the cost of doing business. And I love every fucking one of them, even the ones I lost. You know why? Because every time it was
Yep.
real and it fucking worked. Like whether it was it worked the way it was supposed to work, and that didn't benefit me every time. And sometimes it did. And I'm really good with playing gas now. But bro, I would always rather buy an NFT on ETH, even likely for more gas, and fucking deal with the bullshit of back and forth fucking transacting and losing money because you can never transfer the amount that you fucking own, even if you transfer it over the fucking
Oh,
Yeah.
bridges from
you,
Narnia and fucking Umbria or wherever you want. And fucking,
I love the idea of like I think what we're gonna see like eventually. I mean, there's ebbs and flows. There's like things gain traction, lose traction. Like in the end, like anything of value is gonna sit on Ethereum, in my opinion, when it comes to collectibles or whatever. Like
yeah,
you
I
can.
agree. I agree. Yeah.
I like using these side chains for like, hey, I want a video game. Like if I'm gonna make the flaming sword that you have to constantly trade amongst your friends and or it gets broken when I kill a
Exactly.
dragon with it, like that's a great thing to drop on base, right? Like it doesn't need to last
100%.
forever. It needs to last as long as I need it in the game. Like
You need to buy some potions that you're going to use up. You definitely want to be doing that on base where it's 0.00,
right.
1 cents or something versus 92 cents or whatever. Like that's
Yeah.
a big enough difference to where that's where, and it could have been on Polygon or Optimism, although gas on base seemed the lowest except for when something on base is going off. And then
Well,
you're like, oh
that's
wow, it's all the way up to 6 cents, and now Optimism's only a fraction of a penny, and maybe I should be doing it on there. But that's just the nature of the beast. When a chain gets busy, you pay more gas.
well, that's my favorite talking point whenever I talk to people who are like, have you seen this new chain? You see how cheap it is to do it? I'm like, that's because nobody's using it.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as people
Exactly.
use it, there's not going to be the same story, and then now you're going to jump somewhere else. Be like, look how cheap it is over here. Like you were just saying.
Right. Or they're like, oh, we're
Are you?
retooling and we're gonna double our throughput.
Yeah, no, I agree that again, like Sound XYZ, for example, did like a thing. It's like, oh, we'll do tracks on OP and everybody will save money and gas. Like, no, we won't because we'll have to send ETH to OP,
Mhm.
then fucking buy your track, and then fucking let's say we did make a secondary sale, which we didn't. You'd have to send the OP on or the ETH on OP back to fucking to
Right.
the regular chain, and you're gonna lose ETH. To the
Right.
layer one chain.
Or let's say a year down the road, some other blockchain comes up, like Base maybe, and everybody jumps there. Now less people use Optimism. Now everybody's bridged their money off Optimism to Base.
Yep.
So now if you want to
Yep.
sell, like the market just left you. Like
Yeah.
that's what happens when you jump chain to chain. It's not.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. I just had somebody kind of a younger kid from over at Slingshot DAO. He just wanted to get, what was it? He wanted to get some Polygon off of Ethereum over to Polygon, but he had no ETH, and he's I think under 18, so can't do like a Coinbase or his own like accounts. And he's like, fuck, what like what am I gonna do? I need to get like a little bit of ETH onto ETH so that I can get this Polygon off of ETH over to Polygon, but I can't swap because I have 0 ETH, etc. So he sent me whatever, $10 worth of ETH or $10 worth of Poly, and I sent him the ETH minus the gas fee and swap fee. I just swapped it for him and sent it back. But yeah, it's like there's these sticking points where each chain you get onto, you need to have maybe a couple of things to be able to even get off or whatever. And in this case, he was actually trying to get off of ETH over to Polygon because that's where he's doing some interactions. But yeah, so even for like people getting in, it's still tough even when you're just dealing with like the Ethan Polygon
Well,
throwing
it's
a bunch
funny when I
more,
look
and
back because like I just love testing new tech whenever it comes across. So I've got like a little tiny bit on like basically every chain for every thing you can
Mhm.
find because I just play with it. So when I go back through my stuff, it's funny how I'll have like 30 cents on that wallet, 20 cents
they're
on that
never
wallet.
gonna get that
You know,
out.
it's
Yeah,
like
they
I've
never get it out. Yeah, yeah.
right.
That's
I've
what it is.
Well,
it's like
and that's dust. That's Kane's
Yeah,
dust,
it's
and
digital
yep,
dust.
yep.
Digital dust. But
the
yeah, yo, I
only
gotta
way
go.
you can get it right
All
on. The
right.
only way you can get it is if you put more in, and then at a certain moment, if you're able to yeah, there's always that dust. You can't
Yeah.
always get it out. There's always some little
Good
bit
to
in
hear
the
from you,
feed
Louis.
left behind.
Yes.
Yeah,
Man.
always.
Peace
All
out.
right.
Good to
Well,
talk.
maybe since Louis let us know about the Farouk and Trump, I'd say we had a pretty good convo. We went a full hour. We went a full hour just having good convo. So I say we can wrap Easy's corner. I might go jump in and give a little listen to Farouky old Trumpy.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Cool.
Right on.
Good
Well,
chat, man.
thanks. Yeah, dude, always. Thanks for jumping up and hanging with me, co-hosting the corner. And yeah, let me know, if you get a plan sort of organized with handful of peeps, definitely loop me into that.
Nice.
All right, cool. See you
Catch you later.
later in the week. Happy Monday. Peace, love, and whipsy.
Peace,
What are
love,
the
and
vibes?
Whoopsie.
Woo! Stay away from FOMO.